entrepreneurship coaching and curriculum at the state level in our rural communities. So Bex Hybrids is a proud supporter both of the startup companies and of those educators working in our rural communities.
If you think about what ARI represents, it represents how do you get innovative technology from early stage to later stage, all through the lens of national security. And that doesn't mean the technology, that also means for your citizens, right? And who is more important for our future than the youth? We're honored that we get a chance to sponsor the winner and also witness all of the great businesses that are coming.
Biggest takeaway is that I've made connections like
Check, check. Yeah, the little button that goes up and down. Hey, everybody. Oh, man. Welcome. I always say that, like, this is like the NCAA first round I like the best, because the first, this regional round, you see such a really unique blend of everybody. And so thank you guys so much for coming and hearing the student presentation. So we're excited. My name is Don Wedrick, former teacher, and our team, we run this. And so I want to tell you a little bit about what we do and why we do it. So STARTedUP Foundation, our mission and vision, our mission is to teach students to view life through a lens of innovation, entrepreneurship, while building a life of purpose. And our vision is to build up a generation with an opportunities everywhere mindset, fueling innovation, and hope for communities, countries across the world. Why do we do this? I think that a lot of people love to complain. I have in two categories: moaners and groaners, and seekers and peakers. Moaners and groaners point out things that, like, I'll tell you what isn't fair and isn't right and those people give good ideas away. These students you meet today are seekers and peakers. They seek those opportunities to go, well, why not me? People are complaining about this. I can build this, and I can build this with a team, or I can go on my own. And peakers also understand what's coming. They can do that pattern recognition. Like, if this is a problem, I bet you in the future they'll want this. So this is why we do what we do. There's a lot of core values on here, but I'll just highlight a couple. As a parent, probably my favorite one is, in a world of social media addiction and negativity, every person can create value by being a producer instead of a consumer. I don't want our students to spend their time scrolling. I want them to spend their time solving, which is the most employable feature there is. And if our students have this mindset that our opportunities are everywhere, there are some challenges in the world, there's some negative things in the world, awesome. There always has been through the dawn of time. But the people that go, why, you know what, I got a solution here. I'm telling you, I'm talking to you students, if you want to be valued, provide value. If you want to complain, you're everybody else. So I just love the fact that our students seek solutions. You have no idea how much it means to me as a teacher and as a parent. All right, next slide. Oh yeah, that'd be good. The timeline, I don't have it. Oh, yes. Thank you to our host, Maker13, who this is from the very beginning on the growth down here. Maker13 has been such an amazing sponsor, and now we're filling to capacity, and just love the fact that you guys are hosting it here, and also the ability to just be a convener for the community and even running some workshops on the year. So for more on that, let's run a video on Maker13.
Hey, welcome to Maker13. My name is John Riley. I'm one of the founders and directors here at our 501c3 nonprofit community workshop. We're here to help inspire and enable your creativity and imagination through your access to the equipment and staff and training that we offer here at the shop. Anyone can come into the shop and take a class on the equipment, whether that be the 3D printers, the lasers, the embroidery or textile equipment, from the long arm quilter to the industrial serger and sewing machines. We also have a full wood shop with a CNC router and all the woodworking equipment that you would need, as well as metalworking from sheet metal fabrication to welding. If you'd like to learn more about the equipment or learn about some of the things that we build here, we ask that you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter at Maker13 Indiana, or come come to our website at www.maker13.com.
For more on that, we'd like to welcome Lincoln Crum from Maker13 to have some remarks. Lincoln.
Good morning, everybody.
He's new to microphone.
I'm making a point to speak to everyone this morning, if possible. On behalf of Maker13, thank you all for being here. My name is Lincoln Crum. I'm the current community liaison for Maker13, working within our schools and our local community in providing STEAM-based education for littles playing Legos, robotics, Vex robots, Kubo robots, all of those things that will prepare them for living in a world in all of our very near future known as the robotic movement. It's coming. It's coming. It's here. And so we are here to help teach the non-intimidating part of it, the gamification of coding, the gamification of STEAM learning. When you can take a task that is difficult to learn, maybe in a 1D, but if you can put a game to it, it changes the way people learn. So we found that. So I'm here with that hat on. I'm here with another hat on, the second part of what I'm going to share with you all today. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a maker. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I would have given anything to have a platform like this when I was your all's age. So you're very fortunate. Those of us that lived in the 1900s and were born back then, we didn't have these opportunities. So it's really exciting for you all. I can't wait to hear everything that you are going to do. But I'm a late in life maker person. I did something for 35 years. I don't do those items anymore. And a couple years ago, I started making and producing creative, my own original things. My first one was a book called Oh No, Santa's Going to the Moon. No AI was used in the production of my book. I say that proudly, both in the illustration and the writing. That was the first product, self-published, sold 2,500 in our first 3 runnings, but went through the entire process of, oh my gosh, this is an idea, to selling it, and everything in between. What you all are experiencing is self-doubt, fear, what am I going to do? What happens if this doesn't work? I'm embarrassed. I don't want to fail. We all know failure is an important part of that process. The second product that we took is a poppy seed dressing. My girlfriend owns a restaurant close in town, and we've gone every single step of the process of producing and making something that you've got to get certifications from the state government, from the federal government, design labels, all of that. It's important to make things, and that's what we do at Maker13. So we're excited to hear everything that you all are going to make. If you are competing today, you get one of our Maker13 challenge coins. And here's what I challenge you with when you perform today. I challenge you to not only envision what your product is going to look and feel like when it's done. Oh, that's cool. It looks great. It's on a website. But look, and what I want you to do is think about the challenges. Think about how that makes you feel when that product goes to life. All of the work that you did, the blood, sweat, tears. There are tears in making things, I promise. And when you go through that entire process, you accept the challenge of being a maker. And every single one of us here today, not just those competing, not just our judges, not everybody here, we all make things in our life. Here at Maker13, we just kind of help bring some focus into what you want to make, and then we challenge you to make it. So thanks for coming today. Make sure you eat everything on the breakfast table so we can feed lunch today. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Also, being from out of town, I will say a lot of parts of the state are like, man, if we only had a community maker space, a lot of communities want it. I'm telling you, it's a great resource that I'm so happy that is here and at your disposal. All right, so today's students, this is kind of the timeline of what they've been doing. A lot of our students started thinking about, ruminating on ideas, dating back sometimes as early as August. They've had from August to February to come up with these concepts. Around March, they had their own internal pitch competitions to start narrowing down the field. Statewide, we had several thousand, and then it starts getting narrowed down per school to where now you see the top 10 teams for our 7 regions. So all of a sudden it's down to 70 teams, which is right now where we're at the regional round in April. Once we have our 7 teams named, plus 3 additional wild cards, we'll have a top 10 team. Or right around the May to June period is that those 10 teams will optimize. We're going to ask them to improve, so we will not be hearing the same pitch at state finals. And then at state finals on June 12th, it is worth the drive, y'all. We actually have a very famous speaker this year. Can't give away who it is quite yet. But on June 12th, it's at Butler University at Clues Hall. It's a great time. And then on June 15th to 18th is our first ever innovation tour. And one of the reasons why we're taking a tour is for the last 3 years, our flights got canceled and stranded 30 kids. So we're no longer going to take airlines anymore. So we're doing a bus tour this year, and it will be wonderful. All right. So that's the whole kit and caboodle of the process. I now am so excited for you guys to meet our judges. I will go from our right to our left. You guys want to introduce yourselves? Misty, go ahead.
I'm Misty Stanley, Green Tree Real Estate.
Nate Ross, Moments to Movements. Josh Hillman, DC Develop.
Connor McMahon, A1 Cards.
That's the fastest introductions we've ever had. All right, thank you. Oh,
I'm obviously forgettable. No, Bobby Bass, Bass Group Commercial Development.
Well, the guy with the longest arms has those way back. All right, very good. All right, here's the competition format. Every team will have 6 minutes to present. There will be a countdown clock. From there, we'll have 4 minutes of Q&A. Our own Alyssa will be warning you when it's time for the last question. We usually keep it on a tight timeline. And then the judges will deliberate for extra 60 minutes at the final presentation. After that, we will have the awards approximately 12:45. They will select the first place winner. Again, there will be 3 wild cards teams named later. So even though the first winner from this region will be announced, there will be some deliberation after we're done with the other remaining 5 or 4. All right, so here is the pitch competition. Lunch will be provided for student competitors, teachers, and judges, and there are a number of restaurants within walking distance or a short drive. And then lastly and leastly, this is the drawing we had, and this is the order of which we will go. So with that, please welcome our first team, Green Path Learning from Brownstown Central High School.
So, have you ever met someone that didn't fully understand how their food was produced? That didn't understand the processes that went into getting the fruits and vegetables in the grocery store? Maybe that person is even you. Hi, my name is Cassie Wishmeyer, founder of Green Path Learning. And when I realized that this was an issue with youth and young adults, I knew that something had to change. And for me, this change should start in the classroom. When thinking back to when I first learned about seed germination and plant growth, I remember being in elementary school. We had these small plastic cups that we were trying to sprout seeds out of, and the conditions were less than ideal. Maybe 10% of our seeds sprouted. So, as a whole, students, we were lacking an understanding of what plant germination and seed growth really was. Our teacher was operating with limited resources, to say the least, and we didn't have any hands-on aspect to our learning. So, this is where Green Path Learning steps in. I am looking to make a change by providing elementary schools with a greenhouse, as you can see in front of you. What this greenhouse does is create a unique learning environment, getting students and teachers outside of the classroom. Outside of the greenhouse, we will also provide teachers with a curriculum, supporting our teachers from start to finish. This will not only encourage and improve our education, but allow for a hands-on opportunity for our students. So what we do with our primary product is our greenhouse. This is a compact greenhouse, essentially the size to fit in a parking space, making it not too much for any school to handle, as most schools have parking lots. Additionally, we also offer our third grade curriculum, which is set to the Indiana academic standards. In front of you, you have a copy of the Indiana academic standards, highlighted the ones we will focus on, as well as a few example worksheets, including worksheets for each day and labs for each week. This curriculum is intended to last for 6 weeks. Outside of that curriculum, we also offer a growing season subscription. This provides school administration with all of the necessary materials to make their greenhouse fully functional. We also offer in-person assistance, whether that be due to struggles in the greenhouse, some help understanding the educational curriculum, or even just wanting to do a fun activity with your students from an outside speaker. Breaking down the products and costs of this operation, each greenhouse costs me roughly $1,500 and has a lifespan of roughly 5 years, with the intention to lease these greenhouses to schools for a 3-month period, essentially the growing season, for an $800 cost to the schools. In addition, the subscription, which includes all the necessary materials as well as the curriculum, costs me $40 and will cost the schools $300 each year. When looking at the market, it is obvious that there is an opportunity for GreenPath Learning to get into this market. Brownstown Central Elementary School purchased a greenhouse this year to be used for educational purposes for their students in their elementary school. Additionally, as a whole, there's been a large atmosphere shift away from preservatives and to natural products, something that GreenPath Learning works to stress. Additionally, Indiana has stepped away from screens and is looking to focus on CTE, or career technological education, to focus on hands-on educational opportunities. In terms of marketing, I first intend to reach out to schools in the community. I live in Jackson County, so I will focus on Jackson and the surrounding counties. From there, I hope to develop an online presence, starting with social media, beginning with Facebook and Instagram, and hoping to eventually create a website. Lastly, I hope to broaden my reach by attending educational conferences, where I will be able to speak one-on-one with school teachers and administration and explain to them what GreenPath Learning truly offers and how it will benefit their school and their students. Now, while many other companies do offer these individual products, no one has thought to combine them. So while you can buy a greenhouse from Home Depot or a curriculum off websites such as Teachers Pay Teachers, there has been no company to combine these products and to support teachers from start to finish and being a one-stop shop for all of your needs. So, looking to the future, GreenPath Learning hopes to expand first in terms of curriculum by offering other grade levels outside of third grade, and as we reach the edge of Indiana borders, including other states' curriculums. Eventually, we hope to also go past the classroom and include an at-home kit for students who do not learn in a traditional school and are possibly homeschool students or just students who aren't traditionally in the classroom. From there, we would like to also create an interactive app allowing students to connect what they see in the classroom to what they see at home in the kitchen. Now, you may be wondering why GreenPath Learning? Why spend your money on this curriculum rather than a new math curriculum or a new basketball court? But I would encourage you to think bigger than the classroom, because what this does is provide students the necessary education to be educated adults and consumers. So I would encourage you all to help me make GreenPath Learning become a reality, because it's bigger than the classroom.
Interested. You said your Brownstown Elementary is interested in doing this, or they're pursuing?
Yes. So I go to Brownstown High School. Our elementary school recently purchased a greenhouse, and the principal has actually offered, I've spoke to him, and he has talked about once I finish developing my curriculum, using it in their schools and sort of giving me some feedback to make some changes. But yes, we are currently purchasing a greenhouse for Brownstown Central Elementary Schools.
No, that's great. Thank you. Have you built your first prototype real size?
So I have not built a prototype greenhouse. After some discussing with some members in my community, I've decided that I will purchase my greenhouses wholesale, at least in the beginning, to reduce production costs and make this a more manageable business. As I am intending to go away to college, I want this to be something that I can actually do. So by purchasing greenhouses wholesale, I'll be able to run both operations, being my business as well as furthering my education at the same time.
Do you know how much like one of the greenhouses would cost?
Yes, so each greenhouse to purchase it wholesale will cost me roughly $1,500 with a lifespan expected of 5 years. And then from there, each greenhouse will be leased out for $800, allowing me to make the greenhouse profitable within 2 years.
Where did you come up with the $1,500 cost estimate?
I looked at greenhouses for sale on various websites, including Home Depot, Lowe's, and other greenhouse builders, and just sort of chose the size that would be best fit for my purposes, and that was the average cost.
Do you see this being more of kind of a nonprofit collaboration, or do you actually think this is something that you could go to market with and scale?
I intend for it to be something that I could go to market with, because as important as education is, I think that by making this a business, I will have a better opportunity to expand it to not just include Jackson County or Southern Indiana or even Indiana. I think by making this a business, I will have a better chance to get this spread throughout versus I feel like if I did a nonprofit, I would struggle to get the word out as much.
And one quick subsequent question.
Yes.
Do you think there's an opportunity with this food or these things that are produced here to be thrown back into the lunch program at that school?
Yes, there is definitely an opportunity to do so. It would just differ the amount of time that the school would have the greenhouse. So with the original plan being to lease the greenhouse for 3 months in the growing season, which would allow students to take home the plants that they grow in the greenhouse as they leave for school for the summer. So that's the original plan, but schools could definitely attempt to lease the greenhouses for longer periods of time. I'm very active in FFA, and one of my friends at Crothersville grows produce, and they have a hydroponic system, and he is able to sell that produce directly to his cafeteria, essentially giving him a profit as well as allowing him to participate directly in his school. So it's definitely something that could be done if the school was for it.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Shamel, Director of Programming here at the STARTedUP Foundation, and we have 3 main programs that you'll experience today. One is this, of course, the STARTedUP Challenge, which is our kind of student-facing pitch competition statewide. We also have our Alumni Association, so it's kind of the what's next for these students that you're going to see today, and we'll hear more about them later from a few of our distinguished alumni. But the third program is our Innovation Accelerator, and really what it came down to is we started asking each other, like, do you know that teacher, you know, the one who goes above and beyond and brings energy and creativity in the classroom? And if someone came to mind, chances are they're probably already in this room. We have a lot of teachers that we have the pleasure of working with throughout the year to help create these cultures of innovation and entrepreneurial thinking in the classrooms. And that's what the Innovation Accelerator is. It's built for educators just like them. It's a powerful hands-on experience that equips teachers to lead, innovate, and bring entrepreneurial thinking to life for their students, as you're seeing on stage today. And when they're selected to be part of this program, they don't just participate, they truly do level up. They gain real leadership opportunities, a nationwide network of mentors and incredible educators, a proven, ready-to-use entrepreneurship and innovation curriculum, travel and experiences that expand their perspectives, and new ways to open doors for their students. And here's the best part. It doesn't just impact one teacher and one classroom. It really does impact entire schools and entire communities. And right now, we are accepting applications for the 26-27 Innovation Accelerator program. So if you are a teacher that's not already involved, or you know a teacher, which I guarantee you do, because nobody knows more people than teachers, Here's what I need you to do. Think of them. We've got a flyer on the table in the back of the room about the Innovation Accelerator. You can also go to our website, StartedUpFoundation.org, and under the Educator tab, there's information about our accelerator program, because we know that the teachers really are the gatekeepers to the classrooms and the gatekeepers to real experiences for students. So we have the pleasure of getting to support them. So with that said, as he's putting a donut in his mouth, I would like to introduce the next team to pitch. Just kidding. Sorry. Next team to pitch from Floyd Center. Let's hear it for Team Phosflect.
Imagine it's night and you're driving on a straight back road. Suddenly, a sharp turn appears out of nowhere and boom, you hit a tree. This was me. I know I look like the type. Many factors play a role in a car crash, but the main reason I wrecked was because I could not see the lines on the road. This is where our company called Phosflect comes in. I'm Jay Carnes with my partners, Krupa Patel and Clark Tanner.
At nighttime, many spaces lose visibility and appeal. Walkways, garages, and other public areas become harder to see. Poor visibility isn't just inconvenient, but it's also dangerous. For example, a recent survey found that nearly 1 in 6 drivers have experienced a near-miss car crash due to faded road markings. Property owners try to fix this by adding extra lighting or repainting often, but all these costs add up and the problem still isn't solved.
Now, our solution is a photoluminescent paint that glows in the dark. Not only does this enhance visibility, but it improves road safety and reduces the need for extra lighting around its roads.
Our product is made from a special material called strontium aluminate europium dysprosium. It has the ability to absorb light and store energy. Later, when it's dark, it slowly releases the stored energy as visible light, which makes it glow for 8 to 15 hours. It's highly stable and durable, and it will not degrade and can be recharged millions of times. This is a photo of our prototype, and as you can see, the car is staying in the lines, unlike me.
So Phosflect can be implemented in place where people can't really see at dark. Really, anywhere visibility or atmosphere matter at nighttime is a potential use. So here are some of our prototype photos in the light before, and here they are after in the dark. So as you can see, the ones on the left, the first one is just a semi-gloss paint mixed in with our chemical compound, and then the one right next to it is the exact same mixture, just over top of a yellow paint. And then the other two on the right are a yellow paint mixed in with our chemical compound. So as you can see from the pictures, the two on the left glow much better than the two on the right, and that's because the opaque pigment in yellow paints can alter the chemical compound getting to the light energy, which reduces the glow effects of it.
And onto our market, we're in the photoluminescent market, and currently today it's valued at $964 million. While in 2032, it's going to reach up to $1,640 million. Right now, we want to go focus on a more private side, going for back roads, county roads, and like private sectors and parking lots. Eventually, in the future, we do want to try to reach into a federal side, going and try to get mandates and paint highways and state roads. Now, here we have a graph of our TAM, SAM, and SOM. Our TAM is our target addressable market. That's like everyone we can reach in our market. Our SOM is about 10 to 15%. That's everyone we could attain like currently or in the future. And then we also have, oh, sorry, I meant my SAM, but now we have our SOM, which is our serviceable obtainable market, which is like in 3 to 4 years is how many people we could reach, and that's valued at $8.5 million.
In our research, we found that commercial road paint costs about $18 to $40 to make in bulk and can be sold for $45 to $70 per gallon depending on the color and material. High volume roads are needed to be repainted every 1 to 3 years. On the other hand, our product would cost $40 to $50 to make, but the market price is $300 to $350 per gallon. And this is what we want to market our product for. I know this seems like a high price, but as we talked about earlier with the two-step process, if we had a quality sealer or medium to go over top of the paint, it could last 10 to 15 years on the road. With these estimates, commercial road paint would cost $29 per gallon per year, where ours would only cost $26 per gallon per year. This means people would be paying a little bit less to only have to repaint every 10 to 15 years instead of 3, and be paying for a paint that incentivizes safety.
So for our strategy, we focus both on the marketing and partnership side to help Fosflex grow effectively. On the marketing side, some things we could do is show our product in action through glow demos and real-life examples so that the customers themselves can see the values. And on the partnership side, we work alongside businesses and professionals who already serve our target customers, helping Fosflex reach those spaces faster as well.
Now, you might be wondering what makes our company different. Here we have our business competitive matrix comparing Fosflex to other rival companies. What Fosflex excels in is that it's low maintenance and also it's less repainting. So here we excel in many different things and other companies just tend to pick one and just stay in that lane.
With an $1,000 investment, we'd focus on getting real-world demand. $400 would go towards refining and testing our product to ensure durability and glow performance. $300 would go towards sample kits for pilot customers. $200 would go towards marketing costs, and finally $100 would go towards packing and branding to make our product look more professional.
With Fosflex, the future isn't just bright, it glows. Thank you.
Have you all engaged with any of the state transportation departments to ask them if this is a problem they encounter?
So we sent a survey to the Clarksville road safety office and they responded onto it. That's where we got some of our survey response, but we didn't get any personal feedback from them yet. So that's what we've been reaching out to and contacting with them about.
Have you considered how it applies to concrete versus a black asphalt, a surface asphalt?
We did paint a parking lot, but the trouble we ran into was we couldn't get the lights to turn off in the parking lot. And we had a person making our paint originally, and he kept saying, emailing me, I'll get back to you, and we'll make this made, and we can test it and stuff. And then 2 weeks before we had a pitch, we ended up just having to make it ourselves and test it ourselves. So that kind of sucked, trying to get a prototype.
Good job. You'll find out lots of things suck in entrepreneurship, but I know you'll be able to figure it out. It's an interesting product. I would probably buy a gallon right now to get my daughter to park properly on the so she can line up. Let me ask you this, just from a functionality standpoint, is this something that you see a government entity hiring you all? Do you all come out and apply this, or you just produce the paint and then someone would purchase that? And do they need any sort of standards because of the chemical? And that's science is not my thing. So from an EPA perspective, do they need any sort of training to handle something like this?
We would just produce the paint, and I don't think there would be any chemical interferences depending on the sunlight. Glow-in-the-dark paints used in many different places outside and inside, so I don't think we'd have any problem with that. But yeah, they would just buy it directly off us, and they would go and paint it themselves.
And did you see this being used kind of in small quantities, like an arrow or some sort of, I'm just trying to think of the cost, right? If we're striping a freeway, $300 a gallon is not going to work.
Yes.
Just in smaller quantities.
Yes, we wanted to go for smaller sectors like garages, amusement parks originally, and then as we got bigger, we'd hit interstates and highways. But as you can see in our costs, it would be cheaper not to have to repaint every 10 to 15 years if it lasted that long. I know the $350 per gallon seems like a lot, but it would only be $26 per gallon per year, depending on if we can get it to last that long.
There's also some other countries that's been experimenting in this, and they've painted roads and other things, and in that mass quantity, it's glowed perfectly fine, and they've seen great results.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I was just thinking too, is there any opportunity to keep them in a service contract where they keep having to
Yeah, and if we can get a patent, like that would definitely work because then they wouldn't have anywhere else to go. And we would need the funds to get that patent, and that would definitely be something we would use. Like personally, if we won, like we would get 3,000 instead of 1,000, so that would definitely be some more money we'd put towards the patent. Because it's a highly unstable material, like it doesn't degrade or anything and can just keep being recharged and recharged. And yeah, and
we've also talked to places like how Clark mentioned, we've talked to the Clarksville people, and then we've also reached out to the chemical paint company in Louisville who was supposed to help us make it. And we've got different people and a wide variety of people telling us that this will glow for that amount of years. And we've also done a couple research on it. And like we said earlier, other countries are using it on their actual roads right now. I think one is Australia or New Zealand, they're using it on their roads right now, and it does last for that long.
All right. We'd like to thank our 2026 Started Up Summit host, Butler University, Lacey School of Business, where at least one of the teams you see today will be cheering on at the state finals on June 12th for prize money, scholarship, and opportunities. The event is the culmination of all these regionals wrapped up into one. At the summit, you'll witness the top 10 Started Up Challenge finalists take the final stage for $25,000. Whether you're here for the ideas, energy of the community, this is where it all comes together. So again, don't miss your chance. For more on that, let's take a look from our sponsor, Butler University.
The Started Up Challenge is hosted in Clues Hall, which is across the quad from Dugan Hall, home of the Lacey School of Business. This year, we're particularly proud of our partnership with Started Up because it brings young minds from high school together with university educators and industry partners in an amazing event. Another element of the Started Up Challenge that we're particularly proud of is that Butler University is offering a tiered scholarship program. Participants in this year's competition will be eligible for between $10,000 and $20,000 depending on their performance. At the Lacey School of Business, we are proud of the curriculum we've developed. It provides an elite level of business education with programs simply not found at other universities. For example, in your sophomore year, as a part of the real business experience, you and some teammates will build a real business. That business will have startup capital, it will have a bank account, and it will have insurance. Another element of the Lacey School of Business is our required internship program. Many universities require only a single internship. We require two, and we will assist you in finding an internship with a coveted firm or an industry that's of particular interest to you. A program that we've been very busy building at the Lacey School of Business provides students C-suite opportunities. We have a number of organizations that you can participate with and at some point hopefully manage. These include programs like our Student Managed Investment Fund, which manages almost $5 million in assets. We also have a Student Managed Angel Fund, a student-run captive insurance company, a student-run coffee shop, a student-run thrift store, and a student-run fulfillment center. Clearly, there should be some opportunities for you in one of those organizations. In short, the Lacey School of Business program is designed for students just like you. You're passionate about entrepreneurship, and you might even have a business that you're currently operating. With the Lacey School of Business, we encourage you to bring that business with you. We want to partner with you to build that business over the 3 or 4 year period of time that you're with us. Instead of leaving the university to go build your business as entrepreneurs have done in the past, we encourage you to stay and let us help. We'll even provide you up to 9 credit hours in our program to work on your own business. We've hosted the Started Up Summit for many years, and we're looking forward to hosting this year's event too. Because in the end, it brings high school talent into a university setting, and we can show them off to our industry partners.
And just a few years ago, I was in your shoes. In 2022, I positioned second place and won the Latino Startup Award. And in 2023, I made it to the top 10. And this experience truly changed my life. The competition opened doors I never would have imagined. media, features, networking with the top entrepreneurs, and even a seat in the board of directors of Ivy Tech Business School. But what mattered the most? It was learning how to sell myself and my ideas to show to people that it was worth investing in me. That's why Butler University and the Lacey School of Business were a perfect fit. The first year business experience and the real world business experience really helped me develop my skills to the next level, not just in theory, but in practice. And I've been surrounded by students and mentors that have been pushing me into aiming higher and thinking bigger. And trust me, these connections are what's gonna matter in your future. If there's one thing I've learned is that networking is everything. At Butler, you're constantly surrounded by motivated and talented people that will one day be your partners, clients, or even investors. If you're ready to turn this competition into more than just an experience, but into a launch pad into your future, Butler's where you need to be. I wish you the best of luck, and I can't wait to see what you can accomplish.
All right, please welcome our next team, Your Magic from Lawrenceburg High School.
Hello? Does it work? Yeah, it does. All right, sweet. Well, hi, my name is Mateo. I'm going to come up here as well. And I am the founder of Your Magic, where our mission is very simple, to make magic yours. Now, this isn't something you should watch, but rather something you should enjoy, remember, and carry with you. Let's see, there it is. So, I've been doing magic for over 6 years, and since then, it has become way more than just a passion. It is now my purpose. I've also been performing for over 3 years, and guess what? I'm a member of the two most important magic societies in the world, the Academy of Magical Arts and the Society of American Magicians, which are really hard to get into. I would also like to go to business school to grow my company, but most importantly, I believe that magic can make a difference in people's lives. Today, we live in a world in which we are more connected than ever, yet feel more disconnected than ever. We see a joy deficit, digital fatigue, and repetition in our daily lives. People are tired, stressed, and overwhelmed, and sometimes they just need a moment to forget about their problems. And that's where magic comes in. Because magic heals, magic makes people smile, it brings people together, makes adults feel like kids again. But most importantly, it'll make you forget about everything else, even homework, okay? Now, at Your Magic, I don't just perform magic tricks. I actually customize every single one of my shows so that they fit the client's theme. What this does is it makes people feel engaged. And once they feel engaged, they're going to feel a connection between themselves and the story being told. Once they feel that connection, they're actually going to start enjoying of the magic that I will be showing to them. Now, I actually take my business way beyond the entertainment industry. How do I do that, you may ask? Well, here it is. I teach magic through magic workshops in which people can develop public speaking skills, motor skills, confidence, and creativity. This can also be used as a therapeutic tool because if you think about it, learning magic actually builds focus, patience, and of course, belief in yourself. And I personally believe that, healing happens when the impossible becomes a skill. Now, there are a lot of magicians out there. However, not every single magic experience is the same. If you think about it, some performers use the same routine for every show. Some don't even adapt to all ages, and most importantly, they don't even make the audience interact. However, at Your Magic, I do things differently, okay? I customize every single one of my shows, perform both in English and in Spanish. I can also adapt to all ages and include 4 different services: magic shows, magic workshops, walk-around magic, and balloon twisting as well. Up to this point, my business isn't just an idea though, it's already working. In the past 12 months, I have performed 28 shows which have generated $3,100 in revenue. I've also reinvested $700 back into my business to get supplies such as balloons, props which are really expensive, marketing materials, and of course transportation. And that has left me with a profit of $2,400, which shows that even as a student entrepreneur, my profit margins are pretty good. It's a 77% profit margin if you put it into the calculator. But my goal is actually to scale my business to the point where I can perform at larger venues as well, such as theaters, right? Where I can perform for more people and make upwards of $2,500 per show. Now, a lot of clients have left me wonderful feedback, and here are just some examples of those, but there's just one kind that I could never fit on the slide because there are just too many, and it's when people react with things like, "What? How did you do that?" And then the ladies go, "Ah," So that shows me that the experience is actually working. My services have been priced to be accessible while still allowing my business to grow. As you can see, they're higher for public venues than for private events because public venues usually have larger audiences and bigger budgets as well. I have a go-to marketing plan. I use 3 main strategies. One is social media, of course, right? My second one is word of mouth, where if you like my shows, then you're gonna tell your friend. And if you don't like it, well, I hope you don't tell them. And then, of course, the third one, business cards, which you already have. And they have a QR code that takes you to my website. And that website is a pretty cool website because it has 5 pages: homepage, about me page, service list, testimonials, and an Instagram page as well. And that brings me to my last point. What I would do if I were to be awarded the $1,000 prize, I would reinvest it in things such as the website so that you can go in there and, of course, get the services directly online because it does require a subscription. New props and illusions, which, as I said, are really expensive. Photographer and videographer for media content, a better sound system, and eventually a light and sound technician. Now, that would allow me to perform at bigger venues to reach more people and, of course, operate at a more professional level as well. However, I've had this since the beginning, right? And I don't know if all of you got to see it because it's pretty far away, but before we started, Mr. Macman, close enough. All right, he shuffled the cards, right? And then the judges thought of a card. I'm gonna set this down because I think you're gonna be able to hear me. So, here it is. I've had this closed envelope since the beginning, okay? Watch this. Scissors. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up. Yeah, we don't need that. But what's important is whatever's inside of this, which is a brand new sealed deck of cards, right? I'm gonna go ahead and open it, and we'll see what can happen and what we can do with this. So, there it is. Go ahead and, okay, perfect. Open the seal, which as you can see is completely real, of course, and get the cards out, right? That's the most important part. And I've had a prediction since the very beginning. So for the first time, without touching the deck of cards, we don't need these 2 parts either. Would you mind telling us what the card was? Show everyone and tell them. The 8 of clubs, right? Nothing in my sleeves. Are you guys ready? Because if I did this right, there should be 1 card and 1 card only somewhere in the middle. I think we're getting close. There it is. Do you see that? What is that? The 8 of clubs, right? Which is not too bad, but I was so sure that you guys were going to pick the 8 of clubs that it's also the only one. That's blue. How cool is that? Is that cool? Thank you. Yeah. Now, do you have any questions? I'm not going to answer how I did this, but if you have any other questions, I'd be glad to answer them. So, thank you.
First of all, great job.
Thank you.
Great presentation. Let me ask you this, from a business model, you obviously have a lot of talent, a lot of energy, a lot of passion, a lot of vision. How do you scale this? How do you create that with other performers and keep them accountable so that those end users have the same experience that you offer? So this is actually a company, not just the Mateo show.
Right. I love that question, actually, because as I said, I want to take it to the next level, right? Perform at bigger venues. And to be able to do that, I would for sure need a team. And that's where it becomes more of a company, right? So, of course, I would need people to work my light and sound for me. I would maybe need someone to work my marketing, right, through social media and all that. So that's where it would become more of a team rather than just me, because I would never be able to do all that. Maybe transportation, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Do
you foresee other performers working for you and doing shows, or just you?
I do, actually, yeah. And that would be a little further down the road. But, for example, let's say magic workshops, right? I'm teaching people how to do magic already. So maybe I could, I guess, recruit people that know how to do magic, just like me, so that way they could help me out with the workshops. Or if, let's say, I get booked for a larger show, right, where I need to go there. But at the same day, same time, let's just say someone else books me for a birthday party, right, which is I'm doing right now. I'm doing birthday parties. I'm doing magic at restaurants, community events, corporate events. I'm going like all over the place, right? But obviously, I need to prioritize, if that makes sense, right? So that's where I would need some magician to work for me as well, so that way they could do one show and I could do the other at the same time. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay, perfect, yeah.
Love your energy.
Thank you.
What's one thing that you're doing to track or to collect data when someone goes to your website or when someone visits some of your social media?
That is a great question as well. Well, I'm sure you know this, right? Instagram has the, what's it called? Insights. Do you know what I'm talking about? It has all the data on there. And that's what's so great about technology nowadays, right? My website, for example, I made it on Wix. And it tells you literally everything. It tells you how many customers have visited in the last 7 days, a month, whatever you want to look at, right? So it gives you all the data that you need. And then to track my revenue, paper and pen. I think that's the easiest for me. I love technology, but I think that I will never get confused if I just write stuff down. So, yeah. Any other questions?
How much time have you put into all these trainings?
Oh, wait. That is a best question I've ever gotten asked. And I get it asked so many times because I love that. I love doing magic. Obviously, it's my purpose, right? Not just my passion. And what's so cool is that I started when I was 10. I got my first magic kit. That was 2020, so I had a lot of time to practice and get started. And then I moved to the U.S., right? And that's when I started performing. I volunteered at, as I said, nursing homes. And, I think you don't need it for now. But I started volunteering. And then after I gained a little bit more traction, that's when I started charging people. And I'm currently, as I said, a member of the 2 most prestigious magic societies in the world. So I think that shows how passionate I am about magic. Especially the Academy of Magical Arts Junior Society. That one is like the craziest society you can get into as a magician. So basically, it's for the top teens in the whole world, and they only pick 10% out of the people that actually audition. So I'm pretty proud of that, and I just got in like 2 months ago. So yeah. Oh, that's it? Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I don't think he drank coffee this morning, so awesome. Oh, man, I want to take this time to extend our sincere gratitude to the IDC, the Indiana Economic Development Corporation, for the role in the 2026 StartedUP Challenge state sponsor. The IDC's commitment goes far beyond sponsorship. It represents a meaningful investment in our future. By supporting programs like the StartedUP Challenge, and they're helping cultivate the next generation of innovators, entrepreneurs, and problem solvers. Their belief in students today is a direct impact, investment in tomorrow's workforce, business, and communities. Because of partners like the IDC, we're not just preparing students for the jobs, we're empowering them to create them. Please join me in thanking the IDC and their support. All right, now I'd like to welcome Mark Hack from Green Tree Realty to share a few words. Mark?
My name is not Mark Hack. Mark was here. He had to run to a construction site and had to go take care of some houses being built, and he'd asked if I'd speak on his behalf. I've known Mark since he started in real estate. He is one of the leading, most progressive real estate entrepreneur brokers in our community. He's a big believer in local. He hires a ton of people that are administrative staff to support his agents. But Mark's a great guy, and Mark's a big supporter of entrepreneurship. He walked through here with me just a little bit ago, and he's like, man, I wish I had a maker place like this when I was a kid. I said, well, we do now for your daughters. And he said, and the opportunity to share my dreams when I'm 16, 17 years old, I didn't realize we had this in our community. And I'm like, Mark, we're here to really build upon that. Mark is our lunch sponsor, so after everybody eats all of the breakfast food back there, all of our kids, our young people that are competing, judges, staff, we're going to feed them from the Orange Clover Cafe and More right over across the street. And Mark, great guy, took care of lunch for everybody today. So thank you, Mark. We appreciate you. If you have real estate needs, look up Green Tree Real Estate. It's not a big franchise company. He's locally owned and operated, and he believes in reinvesting in our community. Here you go.
All right, the next team to the stage is Utter a Dream from Columbus East High School.
So imagine you're reading a book. You come across a word that you don't quite understand. You try to use context clues to figure out what it means, but you still can't figure it out. So you pull out your phone and you go to Google. But as you do that, you notice notifications from your friends and family. So by the time you go back to the book, you realize you don't even remember what you were reading, and you don't feel like reading anymore. Hi, my name is Charlene Rivas, and this is Isabella Stamper, and our company is Utter a Dream Co., otherwise known as UDC. And our mission is to improve the reading experience by helping readers stay focused, curious, and immersed in every single page.
That brings us to our problem, which is essentially not understanding what a word means within a book or a text. And a way that we decided to solve this problem is a V-scanning bookmark that includes audio and text features. The audio can be used to help sound out a word in case an individual is not sure how to pronounce it.
So this is a visual representation of what the bookmark would look like. So it's going to have a very nice and sleek design so that it can fit comfortably between those book pages. And it's going to have a very fast scanner at the bottom, which will provide you with very quick on-screen definition within seconds. And the text on the screen can be customized. So with people with dyslexia, you can choose the font to make it easier for you to read. And we understand that since this does have a screen, it can be quite fragile when you put it in thicker textbooks. So we also created a very nice durable cover to offer some protection. And you can even customize these to add more personality to your bookmarks. And our bookmark is going to be powered by a rechargeable lithium battery, which can be charged with a simple charger. And we hope to use a USB Type-C since a lot of students use Chromebooks. So it'll just be easier for them to use the same charger. So in order to get this started, we hope to utilize as much cheap and free materials as possible. So we would like to use cheap fabric or metal scraps to get us started. However, for the design and engineering, we will have to invest a lot of money into this so we can make sure that our product works very well. And we hope to keep that to just about $90,000. And for our employees, we will handle most of the marketing since we both hope to major in marketing. However, we will need specialists such as engineers and high-tech people like designers in order to help us with our products. So we will have to invest quite a good amount of money for those people. And of course, for the rest of the marketing, the branding, packaging, the sponsorships, we would like to take care of that. So the cost for that will be a little bit lower. And we expect to have to spend $205,000 just to get our product started up. And with that in mind, we would like to price these at $80 per unit. However, we will also have a customization feature where you can customize those covers, and that'll be an extra $10. And since we are a fairly small company, we will also have a 10% delivery fee if people do order these online.
When it comes to competition, there's not really a lot of products like this on the market. There's only really things like translation pens, which are the most similar. When looking at our competition, it's mainly search engines like Google, Safari, or even just textbook definitions that you'll find. And additionally, this product is better than all of those because it's already in your book and it's quick and easy to just get out.
So in order to gain traction, we would like to use a lot of social media. So that includes Instagram, TikTok, even Facebook, just so we can reach a broader target audience, which ours is readers and also anyone in the education field. So students and teachers is also who we're going for. So with that in mind, we will also like to sell our products in bookstores. We would like to aim for a big bookstore like Barnes & Noble. We will also like to have our products in schools, so we do plan to donate a small amount of our products once they're done to schools so that teachers and students can get exposed to this idea. And we would like to use a lot of sponsors, especially authors. They can include big authors like George Martin or up-and-coming authors like Tara Matharu. And since this is a fairly new prototype, we will be utilizing a lot of surveys and feedback so that we can maximize the full potential of this product.
Some goals include getting our product patented. We think that's very important that our idea is secure. We also plan on at least starting up selling 3,000 units of our product, which would give us about $59,000 worth of revenue. We also really want to have a translation feature in the future and have our product really accessible for people with disabilities because that's something very important to our company.
And that is all. Thank you so much for listening.
A very cool idea. What did you all consider in terms of alternatives or different things than the product you landed on?
Yeah, so some alternatives was a language feature. So as of right now, we plan to only release them in the language English, but we are also considering translation features, so that was an alternative to ours.
How did you come up with I think it was nearly 90,000 in design and engineering?
Yeah, so we did some research on products in the market that are similar to ours, and that would be translation and dictionary pens. They use very similar technology that we will use, so we just did a bunch of research on how much it costs for them to create that. That's how we got that number.
Did you consider an app to go along with this?
Yes, we have considered that. We have not made one yet, but we would like to make an app just so people can get more features available to them. Like we mentioned, we have font features, but we'd also like to have other features that could possibly be available through the app.
I just wanted to add to that. We also wanted to include a parental feature just so there are younger kids that might be using this product, and we don't want them to be exposed to inappropriate language while using this product.
Yes, so I have a friend who struggles with dyslexia, and I talked to him in order to gain feedback on how I can help with his situation, and he mentioned to me that what helps him is specialized fonts, which is why we decided to have the font feature. And our teacher is also dyslexic, so by talking to her, we also got very similar feedback that the font type really matters.
Great job, ladies.
Thank you. You want to shake their hands?
Thanks so much. All righty. As we celebrate today's journey, the students, we also want to take a moment to recognize the champions behind the scenes, the partners who believe in innovators and invest what's to come. Today, we're proud to recognize our 2026 incentive partners. These organizations are doing more than showing support. They're providing real opportunities. Let's give a warm thank you to Purdue University Northwest and Butler University. These partners aren't just investing in projects, they're investing in our people. They're opening doors, expanding possibilities, and sending a powerful message to every student in the room. When you see their potential, we're here to help you take the next step. To our partners, again, thank you to Butler University and Purdue Northwest being incentive partners. Let's give them a round of applause. All righty. The next team from Floyd Central High School, Bath Buddy.
Hi, my name is Rylan Plank, and I'm the founder of Bath Buddy. Today, I would like to start with a question. Would you change your baby where you wash their diaper? I'm going to assume your answer is no, but I found myself asking this question as my sister was in the ICU after attempting suicide. For her, hygiene wasn't something that was comforting. It was an experience that was extremely uncomfortable, exposing, and left her feeling unclean as a whole. And I found this wasn't just her experience alone. 86% of bed baths were shown as inefficient due to water temperature. The system was too cold and patients were unable to sit all the way through it. This led to 94% of body sites being inadequately cleaned every single bed bath. Areas where infection grows the fastest were oftentimes missed altogether, leading to 3 million healthcare-induced infections every year. This highlights an overlooked gap in healthcare. 60% of nursing home patients require bathing assistance. That's the majority, and the majority of the CNA's day spent bathing these patients. 50% of caregivers report musculoskeletal pain leading to injuries in their backs and their shoulders strictly due to these bed baths. And then overall, 90% of healthcare systems report staffing issues. They're rushed, bed baths are left inconsistent, and they're overall unclean. Daily care needs innovation, and that's where Bath Buddy comes in. Bath Buddy is an inflatable waterproof system designed to integrate a heating system and draining element to allow for patients to get a full warm water shower right in their own bed. It prioritizes a single care setup to make sure that they're able to do this efficiently and quickly and reduce infection. But this isn't just an idea anymore, it's a prototype. When I did my prototype, I wanted to make sure that they were able to be situated effectively so that they were supported and able to breathe better than in a current bed bath. Because in a current bed bath, they're forced to lay on their back and they have struggle breathing as they're flipped back and forth. I also wanted to make sure that the clean water and dirty water was separated, because in a standard bed bath, it's recycled water in the same wash rag over and over and over again, and this leads to high infection risk. So as you can see on one of the pictures, you can see the top section of it is the warm water element. This is the clean water that is sprayed through the shower head, and the bottom is the draining dirty water. This makes sure that there's no reused water and that they're getting cleaned all over. And with the shower head, I'm able to target high infection areas more accurately and efficiently. I also wanted to make sure that it integrated into hospitals' existing infrastructure. Currently, in all hospitals and the majority of nursing homes, they have an air port and a suction port. This allows for the sheet to be inflated right at the bedside without any extra mechanical units, and also allows for the excess water to be dried with the suction feature and a small sponge attachment. Currently, the only market competitors are wipes and bed baths. Neither prioritize privacy. They both increase infection risk and require a lot of CNA strain. Bath Buddy looks to change this. Bath Buddy wants to integrate comfort and care all in one system. For my investment use, I would use $400 for prototyping and a pilot prep. This would allow me to go and actually enter the market. I would use $200 for a website design. This would allow all CNAs who have questions to ask them directly to the website or look at real-world videos. I would then use $100 to file a provisional patent, and then $300 for a regulatory consultation to make sure that I apply to FDA barriers. For my pilot strategy, I would start at home health agencies. The FDA barriers are a lot lower at this point, and families are oftentimes looking for an immediate solution to help their family members. After I get insurance integration, I would go into nursing homes where the need is really high for a better system for efficiency and reduced infection risk, because infections are extremely expensive to fix. After this, and after all of the kinks are worked out, I would then take it to hospitals and allow for the patients in ICUs to be able to have a better situation and a better system. Overall, the pricing for home health agencies would sell for around $299, and then the liners would be $2 each. The liners are disposable, so that this would be a recurring revenue, while the mechanical unit can be used for multiple different patients because the bins can be disinfected and then used and rolled around. After insurance, I would sell it for $450 and sell each liner still at $2. Systems like Medicare and private healthcare insurance agencies will cover about 80% to 100% of personal hygiene devices, so this makes the price a lot more manageable for families and systems themselves. Currently, what has been done is I've talked to 18 other CNAs. I'm a CNA myself, and I wanted to make sure that the system worked for CNAs and by a CNA. I've also talked to different home health agencies that have allowed me to prove that they would want to use a system like this because families are hurting because of bed baths. And then my next step is to take it to market and allow nursing homes to actually be able to use it and actually test it out for real-world validation. The question isn't whether healthcare needs innovation. It's who is willing to lead it. I'm Rylan Plank, a CNA myself, a sister, and I've seen what happens when the system fails. Thank you.
Talk to me about the setup. Is it on the bed the whole time, or is it brought in and out? How does that coexist with the living condition?
Okay, so the sheet itself uses the same process a CNA uses to do a standard bed change. So they would simply just roll the sheet under the patient halfway, flip them over the small little bump, and then tuck it to the sides. So there would be a small sheet attachment underneath the inflatable sides so that they could use the same process that they already know and like just basically add a little bit to it.
Thank you. Great job, by
Thank
the way. Yeah, it's interesting, and I don't know if you've thought about this component, but like my daughter's wanting to get into medical, but she's very frail, and like she can't do this job because she doesn't have the ability to pick up patients. So it may be interesting to be a benefit for hospitals to be able to open up some more hiring. Quick question. Have you thought a little bit more about the return on the investability, like on something like this? What do those returns kind of look like in your opinion? How did you have, on that side, how did you perceive that being set up on a return if someone were to put some money into this?
So workers' comp injuries are extremely expensive because a lot of times CNAs have to go to PT and different things like that to help fix their back injuries, or I've talked to several CNAs who've had to get shoulder surgeries, and it's the nursing home's responsibility to pay for these things. So having a system like this where they're not required to hold the patient up and get those high target areas like under the back rolls or in armpits and stuff like that would reduce the cost, and also it's more time efficient. So the CNAs are able to spend more time doing things and they're not having to pay their workers as much to get, because they're having to stay longer and stuff like that to make sure they're getting their daily tasks completed.
So I really like the idea, but I have a question. Would you ever like scale out to like multiple employees to help you on this? Obviously, I think it would be a great idea, but I'm just wondering how you would do it and like, you know, like how much you would pay and stuff.
I would probably hire a manufacturer and make partnerships like that for distribution and stuff like that. I would also probably hire someone for marketing and stuff like that to help me go to different home health agencies and nursing homes. The salary is something that could obviously be communicated about and be discussed. Right now, there's no incoming like money or anything like that, so there's no numbers that I can put on it right now, but I would definitely hire people to help me distribute and make more relationships and stuff like that.
So I read last night as I was going through pitches, and I had so many questions, and you did a great job of answering those. Do you have a feel for how much water would actually be used per bath?
Okay, so yes, when I did my prototype design and I ran through it, I gave my little brother, as you saw in the pictures, an actual bed bath. And so I filled up the unit, and it took about, out of a bathtub, it took about 30 seconds to fill up, and it was able to use it for the entire bed bath. The portable shower head has an on and off switch, so you simply just spray a little bit, and then you can use the soap and wash them, and then simply rinse them off. So you wouldn't have to refill it a bunch or anything like that, and it would be about the same amount of water you'd use for a standard bed bath.
All right. We are going to take a short break, but before we do that, just a couple of announcements. During this intermission, we invite you to visit our Emerging Innovators Showcase I mentioned at the beginning of the show. You can either go back to the warehouse area through the door back there, or you can get a few seconds of sunshine and go that way. These incredible students may not be competing in today's finals, but they've demonstrated exceptional promise and passion in their entrepreneurial journeys. Each one has identified a real-world problem and developed a thoughtful, innovative solution. They're eager to connect, gather feedback, and continue refining their ideas. You'll also have another opportunity. They'll be set up during the second half of pitches, and then also during the lunch break. So be sure to stop in and say hi to our emerging innovators. Last time I checked, there's still way too many pastries and some other stuff that looks like fruit back on the table if that's interesting to you. So let's re-adjourn at about 10:35. 10:35, we'll come back together for the second half. Thank you. Man, this room is alive with energy right now. All right. Thank you, Kylie. Okay. All right. Well, thanks. Hopefully you had an opportunity to meet some of our emerging innovators. They'll be set up for the remainder of today's programming back in that room. So I just encourage you to go meet them, learn a little bit about what they're working on, maybe help them with a connection or two, and give them a chance to continue to get feedback. Before we kick off the second half, I wanted to talk a little bit about what comes after today. Because we're not just a one-day pitch competition. We really do want to continue to support these students as they continue on their journey. They're all at different stages. Some are just beginning. Some have been at it for a while. And we want to try to fill in any gaps that we can. It could be a connection. It could be education. It could be opportunities for funding. Because as you've seen, all of these students have very well-defined plans and needs for some investment. So I want to talk a little bit about the Alumni Association. It really started a few years ago when some pretty high-ranking state officials said, what are we doing to retain the talent? You know, these students that are pitching these incredible ideas, what are we doing to make sure that they're set up for success here in the Hoosier State? So one of the steps that we took is to build our Alumni Association, knowing that everybody's at a different path on their journey. Some of them do need funding, some of them need connection to opportunities, but a lot of times they just need connection to each other. So that's why we formed that Alumni Association. It's not just for students that want to continue on their venture. If they do, great, we'll try to help them in any way they can. But if they just want to be connected to a like-minded community, people that are just not taking a step back and letting someone else solve problems, they're actually stepping up and stepping forward because they've got real experience with tackling big, nasty problems. So I'm going to have one of our members of our alumni leadership team speak in just a moment, but all regional finalists, whether you advance today or not, whether you're chosen as a wild card or not, you are invited to join our Alumni Association. I'll be sending out some information in a few days with the link to apply and a little bit more information. But at this time, I'd like to have one of our vice presidents, Mariah, come up and say a few words. Mariah.
Like Kevin said, my name is Mariah, right? I am the Vice President of Alumni Engagement. So if you decide to join the Alumni Association, you'll hear from me a lot. I pitched back in 2023 and 2024. So I've gotten to have the lovely years to experience the STARTedUP Foundation, going from pitching to then working alongside them. I started a business and then I changed paths and created a new business. So the alumni group has supported me through all of that. I look forward to hoping to speak with all of you later today about hopefully joining the Alumni Association. I would be really excited for you guys to be a part of that. We host bi-monthly meetings as well as have a group me for you to engage with other alumni, to ask questions, to have support, and just answer fun challenges and questions we have every month as well that I host. But yeah, so.
Thank you, Mariah. And we also do regional meetups, so we kind of have little hubs throughout the state. And we have a growing number of out-of-state folks, which is kind of interesting, but they still can meet virtually. But whether you're in the Northwest, Southeast, or central part of the state, we have in-person meetups for our alumni as well. So more info to come on that. But now I'd like to roll into our next team to present from Columbus East High School. Please welcome BuildView Visuals.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's a wonderful day outside, so yeah, happy to see everybody. My name is Ryan Linnup. This is Jake Pope and also Joshua Van Valkenburg. And yeah, we are BuildView Visuals.
Yeah, so in today's world, blueprints are way too complicated to understand considering how much technology and the use of AI that we have at our fingertips. most of the time, it leads just to confusion of all the small white lines on the big blue paper. Most of your homeowners and creative minds just don't understand what's really going on their home, or if they have a project. So our job is to create something to help that's more new and less outdated.
Yeah, so obviously Mr. Crum said today, we are in the age of robotics, and we're coming into a technology age. So our solution is a visual interactive projector. And obviously, it's gonna help model either a construction plan or even a remodel plan. So we wanna make sure that that's open to everybody. And obviously it's gonna give insight to the final product, whether that's a remodel or you're building a new home. It's really cool. It just allows for you to see exactly what you want in a home. There's also we have a digital software, and the digital software goes along with that, and it really just allows you to choose what you want in your home, and it does not have any limitations to your creative mind for that. It's also just gonna allow that whole kind of technological side as well for the projector to project on the wall and everything like that as well. And there's also an AI integration. So if you were to ever be like, hey, my cabinets, what if they were blue? AI, I want to see if my cabinets were blue, what would that look like? And it's going to show that to you. And then there's just less customer confusion because you can see that, and you can truly see that. So right here, I have kind of the outlook on it. There is a kind of just a picture of a projector. The physical outlook is still in development. We're just really concerned with the optics of it. So obviously, and then we also have integrated details within the projection. So there's like a model that you could see just to see like the basic construction outline of it. But then also, like I said, with the AI integration, say this was your kitchen and you had a selected detail. Hey, what would this be like with a Carrara marble countertop? So it would tell you, well, this is 50 square feet. It would cost about $3,000 or $60 per square feet. And this is what it might look like. So it's just really going to help you for that. That would be an example of a remodel, and then it can go on for other things as well.
So you might be wondering, why choose BuildView Visuals? Well, we are specifically targeted toward contractors, but we also offer a unique approach to other creative minds looking for a way to display their creative projects. Additionally, we offer accessories with our projector, such as a smart pencil and hand tracking gloves that allow you to interact with what's being projected. So the smart pencil will allow you to take notes or make detailed edits, and the hand tracking gloves, which are designed for the customers, allow them to feel like they're in charge of what's being done and not being told what they want. As well as what Ryan was saying, the interactive software, which is designed to be projected, and that allows the contractors to help display that to the homeowners in a better way.
Yeah, so here's some of our revenue model. We would want to start with 4 to 10 products, that being the projector itself. So the products and accessories to build that, we would need $20,000. And then for our software app that most of your contractors will be using to show the homeowners what's going on, that'll be $1,000 to design and create. With our marketing and community outreach, that would be around $4,000 for somebody to build that for us. Each product with the projector itself would sell for $600. The gloves would be $350. With the smart stylus, that would be around $200. Most of our products, we would use third-party sources to design it and ship it.
Awesome. So yeah, obviously some early success tools. This is just starting out. We're gonna go with local partnerships. So Forest Construction, which is in Columbus, Indiana. Also Morrisville Construction is in Franklin. So just utilizing them, they're already in our community. And then also really just using that recommendation system, right? Hey, BuildView Visuals, they really helped us. Our customers really loved them. You should totally use them. That's gonna be huge for us. My Family Farms, that's how we found our agronomist. We found him from another local farmer. He does a great job for us now. He really helped us with seed types and whatnot. Obviously, we'll have a customer feedback model. We want to know how we can improve our product. We want to know how we can help you. We want to know, hey, were we friendly enough? Hey, were we like was the communication good? We need to know all that good details. Obviously, the social media presence and using all aspects of each specific kind of platform as well. So yeah, you want to make sure you're posting reels, posting stories, all the things that the next gen is also on, as well as the older generation.
So with the first $1,000, we hope to assemble our first projector. And using that, we hope to connect with a local contracting agency or construction like Force in our area. As well as that, we hope to build that credibility in our community. And in the next 90 days, what we're hoping to build is 5 of the projectors, or 10 of the projectors, and then sell 5 accessories with those, as well as just like building that credibility.
So yeah, that's all about us. And do you guys have any questions for us?
What was the story that caused you guys to focus on this? Was there an incident? Was there something that happened where miscommunication from builder to customer? How did this get created?
Yeah, totally. So actually, it was with my family because we were like bouncing ideas in the classroom and like, oh man, what should we do? Well, my family, this actually happened to us like when we first started out. It was really just because of the deck size. And it, like my parents, they were just concerned with so much of the inside and whatnot. And they didn't focus on the exact material. So we actually got like a slightly different material that we wanted for our deck. And then it also was like the wrong dimensions, and they just didn't see that super clearly in the blueprint. So I brought this up to them, and they were also, yeah, I totally agree. And we also, we're farmers, like I mentioned before, so this could also, like the barn spaces, that's super important for storing your equipment and whatnot. So it would really help people to see, hey, would my combine fit in that barn? Or would my anhydrous bar fit in that barn? Like, you need to know all that kind of stuff.
Love the concept. I think it's a really cool idea. What research have you guys done into other models like this that are already in the market?
Yeah, so we've actually used AI to kind of explore the market. We're planning on talking with Force Construction to see similar products and how we can separate ourselves from them and create a unique approach that like solves this problem, but while also making it clear to the customers that we care for them and want their voices to be heard.
Obviously, I wanted to add to that. There really is not a lot of stuff for a visual and like the interactive piece of it. So obviously we have that stylus pen and the hand tracking gloves. So that's really going to help people actually be able to interact with it. Whereas you really can't do that, I guess, with other projectors that are on the market right now.
How did you come up with your cost model that you have to identify, whether it's in the technology or whether it's in the actual build?
Yeah, so actually at Columbus East High School, we have a great thing called the C4 program. This is like, it just helps you integrates like real life kind of studies into school. So I actually kind of connected with our robotics program, and also one of buddies of mine. He like programs stuff on his calculator and so much stuff like this. He's really intelligent. So he was telling me like all this stuff about, hey, this is how much it might take to develop an app like this. This is how much you would have to pay somebody. Your materials with this is how much it might cost to assemble a projector like this. And also with those accessories as well, we just kind of researched, hey, the smart stylus pens to be able to do that, and also those gloves and whatnot. Just what are those kind of materials? What do those cost to make that?
2 quick questions. First of all, good job, gentlemen. Do you see any issues with opening up the door to commercial use? So, for example, restaurants or something like that. From a functionality proponent, is there anything that needs to be done additional, or can you approach this to Starbucks and show the franchisee what it will look at when it's built out?
Yeah, totally, definitely. We just obviously, like we said, we're right now to just like the contractors and the construction, but there's a whole nother world out there for that as well. I think the current model would definitely suit for something like Starbucks. They might definitely need to like play around with the different models just to like what suits their company exactly as well. But definitely that could the commercial side of it as well. We would need to get a patent for it as well, for sure, just so then we can keep it for us and people would want to come to us for that usage.
My next question is, I know you're selling this primarily at this point to contractors, right? Do you all foresee, or have you thought much, there's a one-time revenue here, but is there any way to sell on a subscription so there's monthly revenue being generated?
Yes, that actually was a thought that we had a couple months ago. And Josh, you wanna talk about the subscription?
So we've actually considered leasing them to like art agencies or art shows for like creative minds, like we were saying, that want to display maybe their 3D arts on like a computer. They design it and then they can show that at these art shows using our projectors on a lease. Okay. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. I'm Anna. I am the Corporate Engagement Manager for STARTedUP Foundation. At STARTedUP, we're on a mission to bring real-world problem solving into every classroom, but we cannot do this without our local community. So there are a few ways to get involved. First off is to invest. So our goal this year is to raise $400,000 from our local community, and this could be done through a sponsorship or donation, but this fund directly supports the teachers in our program who are behind the incredible teams that you see today. Second is volunteering. So if you're interested in speaking to a classroom or mentoring, we're anticipating that we're gonna have 150 educators in our program in the fall, and so we'll be looking for 150 volunteers to speak to every classroom. Last is referring. So if you know a business, a school, or an individual that you think might be a great fit for STARTedUP Foundation, we'd love to have them involved. So if you have any questions, if you're interested in getting involved, please see me. And thank you all for being here today. Up next, we have Grip Guard Soccer Socks from Charlestown Senior High School.
I'll tell you. Oh, okay. I don't have any jokes. Oh, thanks. Sorry, gotta make sure this works. Oh wait, I think this is the wrong pitch deck. I don't know. I sent it to you when you needed it. Sorry. Oh, this is the one from state. This is the one from state. You got any jokes for us, Dawn? Yeah.
While Kevin's working on this, I did want to embellish a little bit on why we've grown. So some of these people have been to this competition the last couple of years, and this has grown exponentially statewide. Like I said, there were several thousand students, but the reason why, and I really, really want to hammer down on this, When people say, why is it getting at this level? And I say, it's the teachers that they spend time with the students all year. Sometimes I go to youth Shark Tanks and they have an idea they thought about for exactly a day, or just kind of other vagary. What I like is our teachers are doing three things. Number one, they're getting the students to see a problem as an opportunity. To be able to listen to people complain and identify problems is the skill that a lot of our employers are looking for. Number two, our teachers are giving the gift of time. They're carving out 15, 20 minutes a week on saying, all right, what are you coming up with? How can I help? And then third and most importantly, our teachers, like in a day where people go like, well, some things aren't fair. It's not what you know, it's who you know. They're correct, and nobody knows more people than teachers, factually speaking. So when these teachers can go, I think that you're onto something, it outgrows some of us. It outgrows some of the teachers. And like, I need an introduction to somebody in this industry. If you've taught for more than 10 years, you know somebody in that industry. And then that's also kind of like where we try to provide help. We provide a lot of intros. So building that network, I just know that right now, juniors in college across the country are scrambling to know people and get internships. What if we can have students do that from freshman year of high school? What if we can have them have the opportunity to get to know people, get to understand problems in industries, so before they even think about graduating from high school, they've already been a part of a network and they've been already part of a movement that they're doing things. So I think that's one of the most important things that we do, that I like what we're witnessing in the growth over this has been because the teachers are spending time with our students. So wanted to make sure we double down on that. In the meantime, did we find? No, we're looking for it. All right. So should I do improv now, Kevin, or have our friends do some? Do you want to do some magic? We're still like, so let's go. You didn't know you were going to come in handy, did you?
Yeah, I did not know that. Let's see. I'll just stand over here. I don't think I need a microphone because I can't do magic with one hand. So.
I'll narrate. I'll do play-by-play.
Sounds good. Should I just stay here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So, are you going to narrate it?
Sure.
Okay.
Or are you going to do things to me? Should we have a plant in the audience?
Here's what we're going to do.
Yes.
I'll do the magic, you do the talking.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yes.
So here we go.
All right. He's getting out the cards. He's going through them. Anything? Okay. Got rid of the jokers, although there's still one on stage. Thank you. Thank you. Either you're fast or you're sympathetic. All right, he's shuffling. I'm looking at it. I don't see anything funny except our comedy. And stop. Okay, there it is. Okay, we don't need it. Forget it. Get it out of your head. We don't need that card. I want Miss Brown. Because she laughed at my joke earlier. Come on up. Give her a hand. Also, she is not shy, so yes. Yeah, all right, so having shuffle them up, make it difficult. You're making things, yeah, she's shuffling. Every day she's shuffling, and I can see, yes. He's sexy and he knows. All right, very good, and now he's like, go ahead and pick something. He's looking there. Okay, she's fast.
Yeah. Is that good? No. No? Okay, keep going. Yes. Stop. Okay, right there. Are you sure? Yeah. Okay, perfect. So again, you got this part, right? We all saw it? Keep this one. That one's for you. And then just look at it. Show everyone if you'd like.
I'd like to see it too, please. Thank you so much.
You got it? Yes? Perfect.
10 of spades, okay. Oh, sorry. That was a joke. It's not. Tennis. Thank you all for laughing. All right.
Put it somewhere in the middle.
Okay. Anywhere he's not looking. Okay. Pick someone out. I'm going to go with someone random, not in the front row, because they're all assuming it's going to be him. I'm going to have Mr. Santa Claus come up.
Oh, perfect.
Everything just got a little bit of jolly. There we go. And also one of our sponsors today, and our host. All right. Give him. And all right, he's kind of, he's good at spreading Christmas cheer, but shuffling decks, maybe not. All right. And all right.
Is that good?
Does.
I don't want to touch the cards. Just put them back in the box or keep them, put them in your box, whatever you like to do. I don't care.
Look, I'll do this. Put them in the box.
Mm.
All right, and for this, I'll have to do the talking because
I understand.
Yeah, all right. Your hand here, and kick. This is hard.
Mm.
It looks weird. Okay, okay, I think I got some. I think, if I'm correct, your card is not black, it's actually red. Yes. Let me see it. Let me look at me. Could be hearts or diamonds. I think it's diamonds.
Mm.
Okay, now you have to look at me because you actually picked the card. Okay, I think I got it. I'm gonna one shot right here. If I get it wrong, don't ask too much. Four of diamonds.
There we go. Yes.
And then, you want to keep the deck of cards? As a souvenir?
Yes, will you sign it for me?
Yeah, I can do that later. Okay, perfect.
That will have a euchre tournament in back. All right, thank you so much. We got you. If by chance I can tell more stories, are we looking good? All right, also, just to, I've done this long enough, like to say it on behalf of the judges. While Mateo, we appreciate you, you will earn no extra bonus points for stalling, but we do appreciate it. Should you do win, people are always gonna have that in their head, like, oh, you, hey. All right, thank you so much for helping us stall. That was wonderful. And now, back to the show.
Thank you, Don. Should probably stand over here. Hi, everyone. I'm Leanna Rotundo, and I'm a senior at Charlestown High School. This is me a couple months ago having my first major surgery ever. I broke my leg playing soccer, and I had 7 screws, a plate, and a big bar going through both my shin bones because of how bad it was. And of course, it could have been prevented. So athletes are using grip socks underneath their regular socks to prevent these kinds of injuries. And they're securing their shin guards using this. Sorry, a little switch. They're using tape underneath, and that can take a lot of time and can waste material. And with this, the shin guard can still move left and right or laterally. So this is the problems that I got at every scenario. Athletes struggle with their foot stability, agility, and traction while they play. That's why they wear the grip socks. And impact forces can rise up to 6% if their shin guards aren't in place. And the cost of both regular socks and grip socks can be quite deterrent for athletes because it can double in price. And sustainability. So with the athletes cutting their socks, this can lead to a lot of landfill contribution. So again, this is how athletes are wearing them. So the solution is the Grip Guard soccer socks. It's a full-length grip sock with a mesh shin guard pocket on the inside so the athletes can just slide their shin guards in. So it's the only product on the market right now to feature this inside shin guard pocket. And I'm using PVC silicone, which is more durable than the silicone that's used on trampoline socks and yoga socks. And my price was set to be more affordable so more athletes can use this technology to prevent career-changing injuries. And it's made by a soccer player for the soccer players. So how does it work? The athlete just puts on the sock, puts on their cleats, slides their shin guards in, and they're on the field. So my target market is the parents of young athletes ages from 11 to 19, and they care about their health and safety. And of course, it's for boys and for girls. There are a lot of competitors on the market, but they sell all the bits and pieces of my product, but haven't thought about combining all of them. So the Meta Captain sells a bundle of grip socks, shin guard sleeves, shin guards, and shin guard bands. The bands go around the base of the ankle, but don't prevent the shin guards from moving laterally. Same with the Luxe anti-slip soccer socks. It's a full-length grip sock, but again, it has nothing to secure the shin guards in place. The combination method is what athletes are mostly using, but with the cutting of the regular socks, this can lead to athletes buying multiple pairs in a season because of them losing elasticity and fraying. And then shin guard pockets are also used to keep the shin guards in place, but the multiple layers of fabric can be uncomfortable for athletes.
Okay, so it only costs $6.85 to make a pair, and I plan to sell it for around $30. And I plan to sell around 500 in the first 6 months. There's around 17,000 soccer players in the southern Indiana and Louisville area. And 60%, I surveyed 100 people, and 60% of those people have expressed an interest in this product. So I'm looking around $12,000 in profit. So I keep most of the manufacturing local. I make them here at Maker13 and at my house. I have direct suppliers for all of my materials. And sampling, supplying, I'm going to local clubs like Southern Indiana United and Fall City FC so they can sample and try out my product and give me more accurate feedback. So this slide is actually wrong. Most of the prize money is going to go towards materials. So 730 of those dollars are going to go towards materials so I can finish producing a more viable prototype. And then the other 270 of those dollars is going to go towards travel expenses. So I can set up my tent and go to tournaments and springtime games so I can directly target my market. So I'm revolutionizing what an athlete's equipment can do for them. So who's ready to keep all the athletes safe with all the grip and no slip?
Great job.
Thank you.
Quick question, forgive me if I missed this. Are you selling direct to consumer, or is this something you're going to sell like big box retailers? Could I get this at Dick's or Academy, or are you just kind of going to have a direct online to consumer?
Yeah, great question. Right now, I'm selling directly to consumers and eventually going to move into big box retailers. I want to see how it does first directly with them before making the commitment to be in big box retailers.
Second question, do you think there's an opportunity to make kind of a custom shin guard that they have to buy your shin guard to go into your sock so you can increase sales?
Yeah, for most kits and athletes, the brand of shin guards that they use just depends on how comfortable they are. So I wanted to make it so the athlete can use whatever shin guard they wanted because most people have a brand preference. Yeah. Like my brand preference is Nike. So I like to buy Nike shin guards because they're more comfortable. But yes, I do plan on making shin guards that can only be used with my product.
And are they all pretty much the same size? That could fit
yeah,
into
there is a standard size.
Yeah.
So with the prototypes that I made, it all is just a standard size, adult size sock. Yeah. And I use a standard size shin guard to make the pocket.
Great.
Love the presentation.
Thank you.
Great job with that. What is your next step to take this to the next level?
Definitely making a final product, a final MVP. This is my second prototype that I have made. I still have to do a lot of testing with it and tweak it. I changed the material a couple times, and then after that, I can go and mass produce it, and that will make it cheaper and a lot more efficient for me to get this out to my market.
Very cool. What was the feedback from some of the soccer clubs that you introduced this to?
Well, obviously they wanted more colors because white is usually a part of the soccer kit or uniform. They wanted more colors. They really liked the idea and how that can improve their athletes and keep them from getting hurt. Because if athletes are playing for long periods of time, like for club, injuries, they're very prone to injuries. So they're definitely interested, but they do want more colors.
I have a question. So how durable are they? Because I play soccer as well, and I'm just wondering, like, I normally fall on the ground a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, these easy to get ripped up and stuff, and, like, how's the durability on them?
It usually depends on how often the athlete plays. Sometimes players can buy 2 to 3 pairs in a season. So they're just the same amount of durability as a regular pair when it comes to material. Definitely getting a more consistent way of sewing the pocket. I ran into consistency issues, and as well as like the inserts when I'm sewing or putting the silicone on the bottom. I was using cardboard inserts, so there were little ridges and marks from it, so I'm trying to switch to either plastic or metal to keep the consistency the same, but yeah.
From our breakfast sponsor, that lovely spread back there, Lincoln from My Local Santa would like to say a few words.
Well, I love feeding you all. So we have just a little bit left. Make sure you get something. I wanted to share something real quick with you, just a couple minutes. I learned how to do this when I became Santa. On October 21st, 2021, I put on a Santa suit for the first time, put on little glasses, put on my hat, and I looked in the mirror, and it literally the spirit overcame my body, and I started crying, and I looked in the mirror, and I made a promise to myself. I said, when you become Santa, Santa's gonna take you all over the world, all over the world, all over the world. I kept saying that to myself, crying, all that. I'm like, I have lost my mind. I'm a nut job. What is happening to me? Here's what I did. By saying that to myself in the mirror theory. Have you all heard of the mirror theory? The mirror theory, when you look in the mirror every day and you're looking deep into that mirror, that's every version of you in the universe and in your life looking back at you. So when you look in that mirror, make sure you be really smart about the things you tell yourself in that mirror. I mean that, especially to our young folks and especially to our old folks, because you forget that sometimes. But here's what I want to share with you real quick. The power of limiting beliefs keeps you down. If you release and you become unlimited in what you think you can do in your world and in your life, you will be amazed how that happens. But it's not just the visual of, oh, someday I'm going to do this. It is the actual feeling of what that feeling is going to feel like when you do it. Not just what it's going to look like, but what it makes you feel like on the inside. Buddhism calls that mindfulness. Santa calls it being present. But that happens. And I do travel all over the world. I've done 2 tours in Hong Kong, China. I've been to Tokyo, Japan. I go to the Mall of America. I do a couple 100 events here a year. But I get to be Santa, and I get to live in the power of not putting any beliefs, any limits on what I can do. And that's what I want all of you young entrepreneurs to do. Don't put any limiting beliefs on what you're going to do and what your product's going to be. Think about what that's going to make you feel like when you end up at that part of the process, okay? I'm glad you enjoyed your breakfast. We're feeding you lunch here in a minute.
Thank you. All right, next team to go is Rosa Storyvines from Jeffersonville High School. You're up next.
Hi everyone, my name is Katrina Britt and I'm the founder of Rosa's Storyvines. Now, let me tell you about this little scenario I have. Imagine having a little kid and you tell them to read this long, wordy book. And you ask them, what is it about and did you like the story? They probably are going to shrug their shoulders and say, I have no clue what it was about. I can't tell you anything about it. Now give them a picture book. And they can tell you anything that you want to know about it, their favorite character, what they liked about it, and just anything that you would like to know. And that's where the problem lies. We treat family history like it's a wordy book. Kids just aren't connecting anymore. They aren't connecting with old photos or black and white photos that, like, we can't expect them to just have their full attention. They're wanting to run around somewhere or look at something shiny and sparkly. And that's why I created my business. I created it so that kids can connect with, to connect the gap between the older generations and the newer generations. I want to make sure that that the old photos can be turned into vibrant illustrations and comics. And it's an easy 3-step process. And the first step is only for the family and also a little bit for me, but most of this is my process. First, you just have to do a consultation. You just tell me anything that you want in the story or what you want in the image, and give me any reference images that you would like to give me. The last 2 steps are for me. First I do the scripting, or I give you First I do the scripting, and I have an idea for what I want the image to look like, and last is the illustration. I draw it out, and I deliver it. And I do more than just share the story and have a likeness. I keep the personality intact. I share the likeness of the family and what made it special. And this isn't just a passion project. This is a scalable business with nearly 100% profit margin for digital products and nearly an 80% profit margin for my physical add-ons, leaving me at a $95 average order value. And the demand is there. In just a 4-month soft launch, I have gotten nearly a $600 initial order value and revenue. And I am also working to getting a partnership with the NOCO Arts District. And with the $1,000, I will use it on a printing service. I will use $600 on a printing service to increase my revenue by 30% for physical add-ons. And I will use the last $400 on sample portfolios and booth fees to get my potential customers excited about my idea. Together, we can transform these fading memories into legacies that families will treasure for generations. Let's tend the family tree.
What a great job. Great.
Thank you.
Well done. I'm interested because this is something, as I grew older, became very important to me. Not just to hear the stories in my lineage that gave me more confidence and more purpose,
right,
but I also started to see in my grandparents how important it was for them to tell their story.
Right.
How at your age did you have a vision for this? What made this real to you?
I have a great-great-grandfather. He is Cordon Porter, and I know a lot of people who don't know their great-great-grandfathers. And I think that it's special to me to know that I have someone as important as that, and I think that it should be important for other generations and other kids to know who their special family members are or were.
I love this story. This is such a cool idea. And I think it helps everybody really connect to a grandparent or a parent or a great-great-grandparent. So I love that you're doing that. How are you considering technology in what you're doing from an AI perspective or from a graphic design perspective?
For speed, if needed, I am open to including it in my business, but it's not preferable. And currently, AI is cheap, but it's not consistent.
Very cool.
I do have one quick question.
Yes.
When you kind of customize this, how long, how many hours are you spending to create this, like that storyline?
About I'll say 5, because I have a team at my church, because it's all volunteer-based, and they're very nice people, and they're really helpful, so they make the process way faster.
Mm-hmm. Is that something you think you can see that you could speed up? Because I would imagine as your demand grows, right, that we're going to have to shrink those times. So just something to consider. consider?
Yes,
the
I'm
title?
looking to scale, and
Yeah.
I want to have like a bigger studio with like a lot of different artists. I made this so there's also a demand for like art jobs because it's hard to get jobs as an artist. And I know that kids getting out of art school are trying to look for jobs, and it's really hard to find one. So I wanted to open the art market for artist jobs.
Well done.
Yes. I have, to make it faster as well, I have a order form so that it speeds up the process, so that there's not too much time for consultation. The consultation is mostly like for like questions or like any reference images that you would actually want to give more of if you didn't give as many as you wanted to in the form.
Thank you so much. We good? Okay. Hello, hello. How are we doing today? Yay, me too. Okay. Well, hello. My name is Ava Wetrick, and I am the Communications and Marketing Manager here at the STARTedUP Foundation. And I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about getting connected with us. You know, people usually ask me, I know that you do the pitch competition, but what else do you do? Like, is that the only thing you do? And I go, oh, heck no. We are doing things all the time throughout the year. Every month, I am collecting stories about what our teachers are up to, about what our students are up to, about what our alumni are up to, and I'm constantly telling all y'all, this is what we got going on, this is how we're changing education, and this is how we're improving lives, right? So with that in mind, I wanted to get you connected. You can obviously email us at any time at our little info@startedupfoundation.org email. Or my favorite way is if you could get connected with us on LinkedIn or Instagram, that would be amazing. I feel like a lot of students in here today do not know that I made little graphics and posts about you this whole time. So if you want to go see those, go check out our Instagram page. Our LinkedIn page has a wealth of information and updates about what we're doing throughout the year and how we can support you. And our YouTube channel is pretty cool as well. I think that's all I have to say. So without further ado, I am going to announce Routes to Results.
All right, so today we started our project by talking to people. By talking to immigrant small business owners again and again and again, we found that they lacked the right information. That English was tough whenever creating a business, that understanding financial documents, contracts, business verifications, it became stressful, it became difficult, it became tiring. Again and again. After talking to so many people, we realized the problem was that these immigrant small business owners lacked the information and clear understanding needed to start a business in the American system. That many relied on informal advice from friends or family, which can lead to business catastrophes. Money could fall, they could make the incorrect financial decisions. And because of that, we realized that something needed to change. 1 in 5 new businesses are immigrant owned, while 40% of these people are financially illiterate. And this isn't just some problem that's nationwide. In fact, it's happened to here, it happens to us. My mom is an immigrant coming from Thailand and understood the difficulties in understanding English as she immigrated here, understanding a new language. Keyshawn's family came from India, and not only did they have to understand a new language and a new style of living, instead they also had to start a business, and in starting their own business, they found the struggles, they found issues, and they found problems, and so that's why we created Routes to Results.
My name is Keyshawn Patel, and I'm joined by Tucker Harris, and we bring you Routes to Results. And as you can see on our video, Routes to Results is an AI-powered application that doesn't just translate documents, but it simplifies it and teaches it in a way where immigrants can understand it. Here you can see our MVP. At the bottom, as you scroll, you can upload a document. Here, we're going to upload a legal compliance document, right? You can give it a title, you can give it document type, so you can sort it through later, and you can give it the language you want to translate it into. Here we keep it in English. When you click translate, you can see key summaries, you can see what you need to do for certain deals, when stuff is due, maybe even money. On the side, if you're still confused, you can book a consultation. Here, you're connected with trusted advisors from your local area who will understand what you need. You can give it a title, a type, a date and a time that works for you, as well as the language you want it in, so you can actually understand what's going on. You can also give notes or questions to the consultant so they're ready for you. You don't have to waste their time or your time. You can get straight to business. After you do this, you can see your consultations on the left side bar. You can see all your previous ones. You can see notes and questions you've had before, and you can learn from these. As well as on the side, you can see your documents. We uploaded one in English earlier, and here's the same one, but in Hindi. It shows you the same exact thing, just in a different language.
Now, with Roots to Results, I think the important thing is that we've already got some traction going. We've got a minimum viable product up. We've got a website that's in preparation that's starting to run. But not only that, but we have plans for the future. We have 50 plus Indian American families already signed up and registered as pre-adopters who will help us test our program and test our information. We've also expanded visibility by venturing onto a podcast that's been featured on the Wall Street Journal and New York Times, as well as already engaging in talks with the Asian American Hotel Owners Association, an association that owns over 62% of all U.S. hotels, allowing us to explore an official pilot program and gain real testing and information.
And we couldn't have done this by ourselves. We had a lot of help. Here you can see 3 of our board members that helped us achieve this. We have Pinal Patel, Ajay Patel, and a consultant from Deloitte.
Now, in terms of our target market, we're first going to focus within the Louisville area, in our tri-state area, focusing on Indian entrepreneurs and focusing that target market before expanding on and hopefully capturing all 6.8 million immigrant entrepreneurs nationwide.
And we don't want to just reach this target market by word of mouth or social media. While these are effective, we want to go directly to attorneys, lawyers, and accountants. We want to help them reach their clients since they have an ethical obligation for them to help their clients understand what they're signing. And here you can see our 3-tier price model. We have a freemium, which you can use 20 AI chats and document upload a month, and it goes all the way up to our Business Pro. Here you have unlimited AI and unlimited documents for all your needs.
In terms of our competitors, we know it sounds a lot like ChatGPT and other companies like Gemini and Copilot, yet it's going to be different because you're not uploading your documents onto some website that's going to be taken into their large language models. Instead, our own private AI models are going to securely secure your information while incorporating localized business documents. And so the way that AI will hallucinate things by training our AI documents into our localized regions, say the Louisville, Kentucky, Indiana state regions, we're going to give out accurate information that's going to be specific to their needs.
And of course, this isn't cheap. It's not cheap to make an AI model and train it. That's why a majority of our costs will go towards training and development so it can be as accurate as can be. So with the $1,000 we get from StartedUP, most of that will go into finalizing our MVP, and we can get it out there for beta testing. Of course, some of it will go towards licensing and creating an LLC, because that's important for our protection.
As for our initial next steps, we're already finalizing that MVP, making sure something's going to work, and starting that beta testing with companies, as well as training that application. We're going to continue moving on until we establish our advisor network, allowing us to fully launch this product. Together, I ask of you to help us break the barriers in small immigrant business owners and help them gain their financial freedom at Roots to Results.
Well done, gentlemen. Well done. This is a real issue. I work with a lot of Indians when it comes to franchises, and some of the younger demographics are there, but they speak a lot of the stories of their parents and grandparents and the struggles of this. First of all, let me tell you, the way the government has it set up, it's hard for English-speaking people to understand the processes. So I will say this, I think it's something to go beyond that. Do you think there's a way to integrate this? And I know we're several steps ahead. Is this something, a product that the SBA adapts? Is this something the Small Business Association can start to implement from immigration at the beginning?
Yeah, that's definitely something we've talked about. The SBA can definitely use this to help these small business entrepreneurs, because that's where they go for loans and for help for expanding their business. As well as the SBDC, they have a wide range of public information that we can use towards helping our clients. And that's something that we definitely would wish to work for.
Good job, gentlemen. Good luck.
Any other questions?
Yeah, you guys have done an incredible job making something very complex simple. Where were you stuck in the journey the most, and your biggest breakthrough came, because this is not easy, what you guys have come up with?
I would agree. And so I think as we're building out this product, the biggest stuck issue is not only finding the problem that, hey, it's impacting us, but also how do we find a solution and make it work? And so as AI is coming around, we realized that AI may be that solution needed. And so once we found out that AI is the solution that we're going to build onto, then everything started coming together. And so it's really just finding out, hey, we've got this problem. How can we fix it?
And I want to quote Don Wettrick. He always says, fall in love with the problem, not the solution. And that's what we did. We really didn't have a solution going into it. But as we grew, as AI grew, we really leaned towards that to solve our problem.
Great job, guys. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, guys.
Very well done. Do you have a clicker? You got the clicker?
She was leaving, unfortunately.
Oh, she's leaving?
Yeah. Otherwise, I would. Good job, guys. Yeah. Alrighty. Before the last pitch, I want to give again a special thanks, and I want to highlight these to Maker13 and the IDC. Guys, this was an interesting idea almost 9 years ago of what it would be for the state of Indiana to try to identify young entrepreneurs and go-getters and innovators. And what started off as literally was, I think maybe in year one, 100 students statewide, has turned into like upwards of 20,000 participants. It's been an unbelievable growth, and we wouldn't be able to do it without the IDC. And then everybody has to have that local champion. And the fact that like Maker13 has been doing workshops this year, and they've opened their doors to so many students, I cannot emphasize enough the local partners and mentors and people that help mold and shape people, especially here at Maker13, is one of the reasons why you're seeing this. So thank you guys so much. So a big hand for the IDC and Maker13. Lastly, not leastly, from Silver Creek High School, Team Dr. Sump. Get your hands full. Sure. Oh, and also while we're waiting, when we do break, make sure that the adults go back there and visit some students, shake hands, kiss babies, exchange business cards. Students mingle around, get to know people, introduce yourselves. All right, Dr. Sump, here you go.
Hi, my name is Ireland Densmore, and I'm a junior at Silver Creek High School. This is the project I've been working on since October called Dr. Sump. So first, the problem. Before I get into it, I'll explain what a sump pump is. So a sump pump is a water pump that sits in your basement, and it kind of like, imagine it like a 5-gallon bucket, and it collects water from around your foundation and collects it in the sump pit. Once it gets high enough, it'll trigger a float switch and get that water away from your foundation. So what's the problem about this? So if your basement floods, in like a really severe case, it can be up to $80,000 to fix, and like water restoration fees. And homeowners lack awareness of the condition of their sump pump, and they can fail in as little as 2 years with no maintenance. And insurance companies do cover other types of water damage, which could lead a homeowner to believe that a sump pump overflow would be covered, but they actually do not. And overflow insurance is a separate policy that you have to pay extra money for. So here's my solution. Dr. Sump is a smart monitoring system that uses a radar sensor, an ultrasonic distance sensor, and sits on a track and then floats up with the water. So once I perfect my circuit, I will develop an app so then you can see the condition of your sump pump from anywhere. And with the diagnostic technology, based on what the sensors conclude along with the code, they will provide kind of like a starting point. So like, let's say the water is getting really high, but the water's not draining. That's a great way to be alerted that your float switch might be stuck, for example. So it's in 2 parts. This is the first part. That's a CAD drawing. So I've printed that box like 5 or 6 times at this point, and I decided I needed to be more intentional with the design. So I decided to give each box a home, or each sensor a home.
And on the left right there, that red circle, you can see that's the part of the box that's tied into the track. And then on the right is the little window. So it's able to float and the sensors are able to see. And the ultrasonic sensor uses the lid as its reference of how high the water is. This is the second part. This is the actual track. So on the right, you can see that the top, that's where it actually slides in, and the arrows just represent that it can go up and down. And then on the left, that circle, that just shows you the arc. So it actually sits flush in the sump pit, so then when you use a waterproof adhesive, it has a lot better adhesion, and you don't have to worry about falling off. And this makes sure that the device that's actually sensing cannot move freely, because if it were, whenever the water actually starts to drain, the whirl that it creates is really violent. So I didn't want the device to get stuck or interfere with that process. So this allows the device to float upward, but then stay in its spot. So how's mine different? So I've determined other monitors just have bad marketing, and if a homeowner doesn't think about their sump pump, what's gonna make them want a monitor? So I decided I would be partnering with like plumbing companies or water restoration companies so that I can have that outreach or that like advertisement. And then why is preventative technology better than an alarm? So preventative technology allows the homeowner to be alerted of issues before a big storm comes. And an alarm only works if you're home, if you hear it, maybe you're asleep and you don't hear it. So in the alarm, they usually kick on when your water's already really high, and that's already dangerous, it's probably already storming. So here's my cost and revenue. So whenever you develop electronics, there's a lot of parts that you actually don't use in the final. So this will eventually be made into a PCB, which will actually lower my cost. But for pitching purposes, I just calculated all my parts up and added a 30% manufacturing estimate, and that brought me to around $38.99. And then if I sell it for $150, it'll have a profit margin of around 68%. And how am I actually addressing customer concerns? So a lot of customer complaints of other monitors found that they had a lot of false alarm issues. So to address this, I used the radar sensor and the ultrasonic sensor. So whenever the ultrasonic sensor floats up, the water and the sensor have a direct relationship instead of the sensor just looking down. So I thought that would really help with the reliability. And then the change water levels through the box floating. And on the top, you can see density. So how am I gonna make sure the device actually floats? So the density of water is about 1.19, and as long as my material is lower than that, it should float. So I'm going to make a prototype with polyethylene and then verify that floating capability. On the bottom, that shows exactly how I'm gonna do that. So that's called the water displacement test. So whenever you have an irregular shape like that, it's really hard to determine the volume. So I'm gonna use the water displacement test. So as you can see on the left, the water's low, and then they drop the object in, that changes your volume. So that'll help me actually calculate my density. And then I think after I like my circuit, I'm gonna add a camera. So let's say you get an alert that something's going wrong. You can have direct access to see what's going on. But instead of it having running constantly, because that's a lot of battery and data, I'm gonna have it only kick on if the sensor is sensing something bad. Here's my progress, next step. So with the 1,000, I would use 50% towards prototyping so I can further refine my product and determine which one's my most viable product. And then for 25%, I would use it for market research, so giving out my product to homeowners or plumbers to test out and give me feedback on so I can further develop it. And then the other 25% be manufacturing consult, because there are certain things I can and cannot manufacture, so that'd be really helpful. It's certain microcontrollers have patents on them, so I can't manufacture them. So that'll be really helpful for me. Thank you very much. I really want to thank Zoller because they actually gave me a sump pump to use for testing, and I really appreciate that, and that helped a lot. And my teachers and my parents. Thank you. Any questions for me?
Oh, so I have a question. How long does it take normally to build one of those things?
To build it?
Yeah.
So with prototyping, that took me to actually put it all together, probably a couple hours. But once I have a faster 3D printer, that'll cut down on time. Since that took a lot of messing around with, because it was one of my first actual electronic prototypes, it'll get faster once I learn exactly what goes where. So it'll get faster. Thank you.
So I got two questions. And first,
Okay.
great presentation.
Thank you.
Did you have a water backup in your house that caused you to create this idea?
Actually, I came up with it just by researching common issues that subdivisions face, and a lot of them, because there's so much asphalt, the water has nowhere to go but people's yards. So a lot of people struggle with their sump pump being on all the time, so I thought something actually really needs to change about that. So that's where it came from.
Second question, have you
after I perfect my circuit, that's when I'll actually develop the app, because that's a whole other ballpark. So that's going to be after I perfect my actual product. Because right now, if you were to turn it on, it has like a red, yellow, and green, just so I could verify that my sensors are reading. But eventually, it will have like clear conclusions on an app for a person to read.
Very cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. All right. A round of applause for all 10 contestants. And now a moment of silence for our judges. Good luck. They are going to be deliberating. Students and teachers, when I'm done talking, the students and teachers, if you can come up here for a photo. We like to take a picture of your smiling faces before we announce the winner. Sometimes facial expressions are different afterwards. And then be sure to go visit the Emerging Student Summit. Parents, adults, make sure you mingle, talk to kids, ask questions. Everyone else is also then dismissed to eat at a nearby restaurant. If you're as frugal as I am, there's still some baked goods from the breakfast, so you can pick on that. And then we will return at 12:45 for the announcement of the winners. Other than that, again, students and teachers, come on up. Thank you guys so much.
Read my text.
Yes,
I'm glad you didn't announce that to the. I thought you were. It's good,
you really,
right?
the restraint is real.
That was good, right?
go. Oh, there we go. All righty. Welcome back. Before we begin, I'd like to have the judges say a few words. Obviously not revealing the winner yet, but reflections on the process and on the pitches.
I would just say it's inspiring to be in a room full of entrepreneurs and just encourage the people making changes are actually taking action, and kudos to all of you who are taking action.
Yeah, the stories that came up today, one, I just want to reiterate, all great change comes from pain. And so the more you step into your pain, the more you step into the pains of others, the better your solution's going to be. So do not ignore that. And if you think about it, every story that came up came from a place of pain from somebody else. So great job.
So I just love that today, everybody brought forth a problem, but they proposed a solution. So as you're going through life as innovators, entrepreneurs, engineers, artists, you're identifying problems, but you're coming up with something, a way to solve it instead of just complaining about that problem. So applaud everybody today for their solutions.
Really good presentations today. It was really cool to see all my peers working really hard and doing really good out there at such a young age. And it was really good to learn some stuff as well, being with the older guys too.
Good job to all the presentators. It was very impressive what you all were able to accomplish at your age already. Coming from someone that has been self-employed and have businesses, I will tell you, the beginning, you don't lose. You either win or you learn. And so always take the evolution of what you're doing, your product and your refinement as a person, as an individual, but also as an entrepreneur. Because there are things, maybe the business that you propose today doesn't necessarily work out, but the wisdom and the experience you gained will allow you to pivot to the next one to be successful. So it's called entrepreneurial spirit for a reason. So don't give up and keep pushing, but very well done.
Thank you, judges. A big thanks again for Maker13 for hosting this event. Another big round of applause for them. This is the moment that Kevin knows I always go off script because I taught for too many years to not get emotionally invested. And it is every fiber of my being to let people down, which is why I always emphasize this. There were several hundred that didn't make it to this region. If you are here, there is a reason why we give invitations for our Alumni Association, not for the other several hundred, but for the people that have made it here. You have gone above and beyond. I just know the pain and the sting of losing, but I've learned a lot in my 53 years of life that my loss was my win. It really was. Every time I was told, you're not quite there yet, after I was immediately ticked off, I was like, okay, back to the drawing board. If you ever tell an entrepreneur that you were successful on your first try, you were either lying or you're foolish or your product is not that good. Therefore, even if you are today's winners, I guess there's only be one team, just know that you're not quite there yet. You've gone to the next round in this pursuit of constant improvement. But also I'm hoping the students also see the adults in the room and the professionals in the room and the leaders in the room. This region especially has embraced localism. We talk about all these things and online and everything. Localism is alive and real. And for us that say we're too digitized and we're too separated from people, not here, my friends. So count and look around and see the people you see on the nodding heads. They want to see you successful. And the STARTedUP Foundation, I hope to know you guys. This is not a one-day thing for us. I hope to know you and see you. When I was a teacher, my last day of school would say, my favorite day of being your teacher is no longer being your teacher. And I want you to know, the STARTedUP Foundation, our favorite part of knowing you is tomorrow. Whether you did not win or you're here to support your friends, we are here to help you because entrepreneurship and leadership is a team sport. And if you try to go it alone, it is a lonely sport, and we don't want that. All right. So that all being said, as I announce the winning the first place team. Remember that we still have 3 wildcard teams, although we have another 5 events to go, and we will be letting those people know. And also, before we reveal today's winner as well, we invite you to continue to be a part of this at the Started Up Finals Inaugural Challenge, which again is June 12th in Indianapolis at Butler University. That all being said, the first place winner of the 2026 Started Up Regional Six Finals is Roots to Results. Congrats. Pictures. Picture first. Thoughts?
I just want to say thank you to all the judges. Thank you for everyone who supported the journey.
I want to say thank you to Ms. Frank and Ms. Beeblehauser and everyone that helped us along the way.
Yes, sincerely, the biggest applause for the teachers, please. Followed by another big round of applause for picking. Thank you guys, thank you judges as well. We've grown because of word of mouth. We have grown because people know the right teachers. If you know the right teacher needs to be a part of this, please tell them. We've had some legendary teachers come through this and some that are really new. But no matter what, you're seeing the quality of this because our teachers care. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Students, over here, Alyssa and Mariah have feedback cards for you. All the judges gave you some personalized feedback, something to work on, something that'll be the most helpful for you as you continue in your journey. So make sure you check in with Mariah over there before you leave.